All right, the name is Law Nation. I really appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Cowboys, things you can't get out of the draft. That would be the conversational piece for this episode. I really appreciate each and every last one of you all for tuning in. Free agent moves, plus no tag options for me, and I'll explain a little bit more in detail. Yeah. Happy birthday to you and you. And you, money out of the you know what. Thank you. Happy birthday to you. Let's go. Come on.
Pray for rain that feels
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up? What's good? Holla at your boy, Law Nation. Really appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Here's the thing. The Dallas Cowboys, really, we in a situation that we got to look at this team and say, are we one player away, multiple players away, XYZ away? And a lot of people look at one thing and they say, okay, this is who the Cowboys are, and they don't understand the complete picture. Are we better than what we were last year? Or were we better than what we were last year? That's a better way to say it. On top of that, were we better last year than what we were that previous year? So we got to look at it from those perspectives. Now, granted, we want to win the Super Bowl. We want to be in the places where the Kansas City Chiefs are at right now. And, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles are at right now. We want to be there. We really do. We really do. But how do you get there? And what I discovered last night, and, of course, last year and the year before that and the year before that, is the last 10 teams that went to the Super Bowl, they made something happen during the offseason, right? They made a pivotal move in free agent, and then you look back and you will see, yes, that team made it to the Super Bowl. Why? They went and got a dog. They went and got somebody that could be a difference maker. They went and got an eraser. Sometimes you would need to use the eraser just as much as you need to use the pencil part of it, the lead part. And the erasers are those that can take away some of the shortcomings from this team. Now, granted, football is a game of inches. Believe it or not. Mama said there'll be days like this, right? Football is a game of inches. And when you are this close to victory, it's depending on how that ball can fall. And granted, you need to have someone that can call upon great things to make things happen. So I say all of that to talk about a piece of Dak Prescott, because everybody say, oh, Law, you're a Dak Prescott apologist. Have you ever looked into the bigger picture and think that maybe Law is just a Cowboys defender? Because what's happening here is that everybody would miss the meat and worry about the potatoes. Because the problem is with this organization is that we can clearly see things as far as this organization that happened 15 years ago. I don't think we had a player on this team that was here for 15 years, right? We can clearly see things and issues with this team that we seen 20 years ago. I don't think a single player was on this team 20 years ago. And those are not excuses. Those are facts, right? But neither here nor there. Let's listen to these boys right quick. And
my counter to that is the guy in the Super Bowl right now makes about the same money as Dak. So why are we asking one guy?
Consider it. He should consider it.
Why?
Along with other, so the team could be better. So the team could be better. He just did it the other way, and it didn't work.
The team for the team to be better, the Cowboys need to draft better, and they need to spend their money better all across the board.
That's another piece to it. But
I think the Cowboys do draft pretty well. I think that we do get drafting pretty well. Think about it. DaRon Bland, 5 INTs. He didn't start week 1, by the way. He was thrusted into a spot, a role, and he accelerated. Now, what we got to do is now leverage that. What things that he's good at, let's put some more pieces around that. And the things that he need to improve on, let's eliminate that. And let's try to expound upon, hey, my guy, Trayvon Diggs. He's pretty good. We drafted him, by the way. Look good. But what are the issues with the team in the secondary? Well, we gave up big plays on the other side of the field. Well, 2 ways we can fix this. One, and granted, DaRon Bland did have his blemishes. He's not faultless. But one, either we can slide DaRon Bland to the outside and look for a nickel corner, or we can keep DaRon Bland inside and make sure we can go out there and grab a nice veteran corner that can help out. But let's listen to more what they have to say.
about contract-wise. That's what we're talking about, because Dak Prescott, we're talking about him being extended.
I grew up with parents that were terrible with money, right? And so I could sit there and be like, you know what? I'm going to give my parents more money this money. Not that I give my parents, but had I turned around and been like, here's money, guys. I could keep giving my mom and dad money. It does not mean that they would be able to spend it like they weren't idiots, right? Like, you're presuming that by him taking less, suddenly the Cowboys will use it, and they'll find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I'm presuming that the Cowboys are incapable of using the extra money they get, and Dak should go out and get every penny he possibly can, because the Cowboys are as much at fault as Dak is.
I don't want to sit up here being a former player making it seem like I'm trying to tell a guy to take 100%. Hey, you got to take less money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Dak Prescott should consider it, because the simple fact, if you want guys to surround you to be better, it might take that for you to win and get to where you want to go. Because we already seen he can't damn do it by himself. The proof is in the pudding this against the San Francisco 49ers, where he coughed up a damn egg.
No doubt. That Dak Prescott in that game, he was terrible. He was terrible in that 49ers game. There's no excuses around that. Just because the offensive play caller called the play, dog, you're going to have to change that up. We get all of that. We went back and forth about those things. But I'm not finna throw the whole car away just because it had a flat tire. That's my thoughts of it. On top of that, especially when you're still making payment to said car, right? Or for the owner, what have you, or the dealership. That's a better way to say it. You're still making payments to the dealership. You get a few flat tires. Oh, let me just get rid of the car. Nobody do that, even the people that can't stand the quarterback. You don't want to do that. Why? Because it'll be an $89 million cap hit, dead money, that you will have to see. There's nothing and there's no way around it. There's not even a trade ability for it, because there's a no trade clause to this contract. So how can we get better with this thing, right? That should be the name of the game, because at the end of the day, we try to win games. We're not trying to win popularity contests. Now, granted, I can say that from Law Nation Corner. I don't know what the world Jerry Jones and company will be thinking. They like being in the middle of the road. They like where they at. They love the fact that this is what they are. Tune that car up. Yeah, Ramon, that's a good way to look at it. Tune it up. Let's see if we can add more and more pieces. Let's see if we can make sure that this particular ride will not hit this particular bump the next time we're around there. When I was at Jackson State, shout out to my school, JSU alum, I was staying in Jackson. And there were holes in the road that I know. If I go down this street, I don't care if you had a new car, old car, in-between car, shoot. That pothole don't care who you are. It don't care. I don't care what model it is. A pie hole in Jackson will snatch all of that front end alignment. Let me know if y'all need it, if you from Jackson, Mississippi. Them potholes will wreck your whole car in half. Hey, man, it's a new car, though, man. That pothole didn't care. Let me know if I'm lying. Shoot. Hey, man, it's got 8 cylinders, man. That pothole didn't care. Hey, man, it's got 4. It don't care. Hey, man, this is an electric car. That pothole will tear your whole car up, man. It will. That pothole will let you know I'm the boss. And you coming down my straight. Oh, you balling? Okay, all right. You better play your role. You better go 13 miles per hour, not even 15, 20. You better ride slow, homie. You know? Yes, indeed. And shout out to my people, man, that's in Jackson, Mississippi. You know, potholes would change your whole mood, Swain. Yeah, you know. You be like, man, I'm going to go out and then shoot. You hit that pothole, you cussing. Yeah. You hit that pothole, man. Riggs! Riggs! I'm getting too old for this. But people don't understand. So the pothole to the nature, Kellen Moore. You know? I ain't gonna put it all on Kellen Moore too, though. But y'all get what I'm saying, right? The pothole was like, hey, you messing this thing up, man. We were doing 14 personnel. I told you to go down 14 personnel street. No, but you want to get cute and go down 11 personnel street. You know? Riggs! I'm getting too old for this. You know, hey man, I told you not to go empty. You should have went power. But we in the red zone, muddy zone, green zone. Why would you go empty? You know, why would you allow that to happen? I'm just playing. I'm not finna put it all on Kellen Moore. But a third of the problem was that. And there's no other way around it. When I told you, watch out for that pothole, now they'd have fixed it by now, and your front end is gone, then that's on you. That's just on you. So the argument would be, let me just pull this up too one more time. You know, I said there are plenty of other QBs that make more money than Dak Prescott and didn't make the playoffs, right? And then this was this list right here. You got Aaron Rodgers, $50 million. He didn't make the playoff. Russell Wilson, they said that he was going to go straight to the Super Bowl. They didn't even have to play in the preseason, regular season. He was just going to be in the postseason with all of those weapons and accolades around him. And y'all let me know how many games the Denver Broncos won last year. Kyler Murray, $46 million. He getting paid more than Pat Mahomes. Is Kyler Murray in anybody's Super Bowl? Deshaun Watson. Is he in anybody's Super Bowl? I don't know, but he getting paid a lot of money. He getting paid more than Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? Josh Allen, Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford. I would give, out of all of the names on this list, you know what? I would give Deshaun Watson a hall pass, an excuse pass. And the man was getting back rubs and massages and everything, and the girl was like, nah, you asked for a happy ending. And he got caught up into a whole bunch of mess, right? He still had weapons, though. He still had weapons. I'll give him a slight excuse. He didn't play the full season, came midway through the season. And I would give Matthew Stafford. The dude had all type of elbows, issues, and then they just didn't start off on a good foot. So I give Matthew Stafford a little pass out of this list. Everybody else, no, there should be zero excuses. Even you, Dak, you getting $40 million. There should be no excuses, man. None, right? But when you look into the context of it, the $40 million, when did the Cowboys ever took a $40 million cap hit because of that? Never. They never, because the APY is different from the actual cap hit that you take. And the Cowboys are facing this year to hit the cap hit, but you can do a lot of things to manipulate the cap. And let me pull it up for those who want to see. Do you guys really want to say? Let me pull it up. Bam. Let's pull it up right here. Bam. The Dallas Cowboys 2021 salary cap. Let's go down here and look at this list over here. Let's see what happened here. Oh, let's spread it out a little bit. Okay, y'all can see that. Okay, the big hit that year, $25 million. DeMarcus Lawrence, $22 million. Is that Amari Cooper? $17 million. Oh, there you go, Dak. There you go. So you had two players above him in 2021. And granted, I wanted us to work out something with Amari Cooper, not just take this big cap hit and then cry about it later, because there are storylines after storyline that also said that, hey, he was willing to take what, ladies and gentlemen? A pay cut. So all of this fuss about Dak Prescott, it was only, let me pull out this Sharpie. You didn't pull out a Sharpie. It was only $17 million. Okay? Okay. All right. And let's go to this year, the 2022 season, the last season. How much was his cap hit? Because so many people said, hey, man, you can't afford to pay that quarterback that much money. And when I look at the sheet here, it's only $19 million. $19 million. So that's why it's so important, ladies and gentlemen, for these guys to extend contracts so that they won't take these big hits. And that's why you are eligible to maneuver around the money. So many people look at the $40 million and they don't look at the complete picture. Now, Zeke did hit $18 million this season, or this past season now, since we're in the 2023. Now, what the Cowboys are up against now, ladies and gentlemen, is this right here. Let me slide over to this modern day year. We are up against the $49 million. And, oh, excuse me, we are up against DeMarcus Lawrence. Let me just bracket this a little bit better. Let me get my Sharpie out a little bit better. We are up against these cap big hits right here. And let's go over these players. And you can throw Gallup in. I give minus to Gallup for that $13 million. You're $16 million against Ezekiel Elliott, $17 million for Tyron Smith, $19 million for Zach Martin, $26 million for DeMarcus Lawrence, and $49 million for Dak Prescott. And this is only if, for those who didn't really do well, oh, y'all can't see that. Let me make sure I can. There you go. Now y'all can see it. My bad. Y'all can see it better now. All right, so for what I'm trying to say here, for those who kind of skipped out on math, who didn't really want to carry the two and do the Pythagorean theorem, you know what I'm saying, or the equation, what you do to one side, you got to do to the other, for those who skipped out on that class there, let me tell you, 1,000%, if this team want to do anything for this year, they're going to have to do this. The Dallas Cowboys reach back out to DeMarcus Lawrence, and they're going to extend him even more. More news from Arlington, Texas at 8. Or we got breaking news. The Dallas Cowboys now extended Dak Prescott for 2 more seasons. And on top of that, they're going to carry the money over to the year 2024 and 2025. This is good news for the Cowboys because Amazon $111 billion contract will hit for the year 2024. More news out of Frisco at 10. That's the thing. That is the reality of it, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you really want to win, you got to extend. Now, if you want to say, all right, let's organically tank, then you roll right into this year, 2023 season, and say, we can't extend this dude. We can't extend D-Law. We definitely can't touch Zach Martin because it's kicking the can down the street even more. And we won't play on the fact that we can go out there and get a Deron Payne. We won't go out there and get another veteran wide receiver. Those are things you can't get out of the draft, by the way. Experienced wide receiver and interior defensive tackle guy. It takes 2 to 3 years for interior defensive tackle guy to get on the right footing. And that's normally if you get a defensive tackle guy in the earlier picks, like 10, 11, 12, around that area. Outside of that, those big boys, it's blindly going into it. Now, the things that you can do in this year's draft or this year's team is figure out a way. Tyrone Church says Dayron Payne is $20 million a year, right? Let me ask you this, and I'm not throwing any shade or salt at DeMarcus Lawrence. For last season, he had a cap hit of 20 to 25 million. And the season before that, he had a cap hit of 20-something million. And the season before that, his cap hit been pretty much higher. Look, collectively, DeMarcus Lawrence cap hits been harder than Dak Prescott cap hits in the last few years. Who is more valuable to this team, a D-Law or Dak Prescott? I just need to know. I want to know from you guys. I need to know. I want to know from the chat, and I want to know. Let me see what y'all say. Trey says Dak. Tyrone Church says Dak. Yeah. Terry Jerry, I got 5 on Payne. Yeah. Clifton Burnett says Zach. Dak. I feel y'all. Let's see. Lemma, it says D-Law. D-Law is more important to this team than Dak. I feel you. All right, Dak is the Cowboys MVP. All right. D-Law did score a touchdown this year. You know, he had a pick 6, didn't he, against that Rams game? I don't think we beat the Rams if that don't occur, by the way. You know, I think he had 2 years back-to-back pick 6s. I'm talking about not for Dak Prescott, for D-Law. Tank is Tank. Now, would this team be better if you add in this to the picture, if we figure out a way to get a Dayron Payne? Because the last time we had a guy with an interior pressure of 10 or more sacks from the interior was Jason Hatcher. It's been a minute. It's been a flat-out long minute. And you got to count your losses, and you got to figure out a way to count your costs. You know, at the end of the day, I know that right now Washington fans are looking at this saying, oh, hell no. Ain't no way we going to let Dayron go. And on top of that, him going over to the boys. No way. And when I look at all of this, I'm looking at this dude, the ability to create pressure. This is not just for Dayron to pay him. This would be to increase Michael Parsons. This would be to help out Trayvon Diggs. This would be to help out Dayron Bland. You know what I mean? This would be to help out the defense overall, because now you can look at it and say to yourself, you know what? We going to have better linebacker play. Think about this. When you contextualize it from this area, would you rather have, and let's just look at it from another angle, a Dayron Payne, or would you rather have Dalton Schultz and Jordan Lewis? Who's more valuable for your team, Dalton Schultz and Jordan Lewis? Because if you let those two go, there your $20 million go right there. And maybe you let someone else walk. I forgot the other guy's name, but you know how it goes. Let me know, because you can clearly free up some money that way. And insert Dayron Bland as your nickel corner and just let Schultz go. You got Jake Ferguson. You got Peyton Hendershot. You got all of those boys. See, this is how you got to look at it. See, some people look at the 14.4 million, and that's all they see. But when you stretch out contracts, you won't take that big old cap hit right up front. You can spread it out. But the biggest problem with the Cowboys is this right here, ladies and gentlemen. We fell in love with the franchise tag. We fell in love with the franchise tag because it allows you to have that escapability to put the pressure back on the player and say, I'm helping you out by giving you a piece of money that you never had before all at once to give me the same productivity again. But it would have been cheaper last season to sign Dalton Schultz to a 3-year deal. It would have been cheaper. And it would have been less stress on the salary cap. Instead of him counting for 11 to 12 million last season, it would have counted against the cap 3 to 4 million. And then you could have took that money and applied it to another player. So the contract length is so much better than the shorter deal, especially the franchise tag. And have you guys ever noticed Payne would get tagged? If he do get tagged, then we'll move on to another situation because the fire sale would be there. There are a lot of people that's available. And let me see if I can pull this up for you guys when we talk about this fire sale. If they do decide to, dare I say, tag them. But here's my thing. The franchise tag, let me put this, I'm going to sell this one to the Shores. I'm going to land this plane, and you guys going to think that, man, this is the dude that played Denzel Washington. You know what I'm saying? On flight. This dude flew the plane upside down. You would never find a title loan place, cash advance place, check cashing place in the wealthy neighborhoods. Why? They don't deal with that mess. And that is what the franchise tag is. It is a hindrance on the overall collective as it relates to what you're trying to do with your program. Now, I get it, a placeholder that you would like to put a tag on someone that you clearly know that you will sign for a long-term contract. Is good. That's good for that purpose only. And the transitional tag, whereas you put a person on a tag and then you say, all right, in order for you to climb up to get that, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you 2 first rounds or a second round pick. I don't mind that one. No, I don't mind that one at all. But it is that non-exclusive franchise tag that is a hindrance. And the Cowboys been foolish with that tag for many of years now. Started off with D-Law, and then they sully and they denigrate said player and say, D-Law, you're not Khalil Mack. Right? And then they said to Dak, you are not Aaron Rodgers. Of course he's not. Man, we don't know if we're going to pay you that, man. No, man, you ain't this dude. You're not that dude. But he for dog sure was in the same wheelhouse of Carson Wentz and golf. And that's what he got paid, unfortunately, for the Cowboys Nation. Did they overpay? Did they underpay? No, they paid the market value. But by you holding on, I told you guys before, I have a good colleague of mine make real good money, 6 figures. Got ready to get his house built and prosper. In Prosper, Texas, the real estate is growing rate is so fast that he had everything in line and waited too late. The house that he was about to buy was $540,000. He waited too late. The next year, he was sitting there saying, okay, I got this plot of land, got this ready. I'm about to move into this house. And they said, no, dog, you waited too late. The house now is worth $928,000. That's within 1 year. I said, dog, what you doing now, man? Hey, man, I'm house shopping again, man. It's too much. I said, it grew that fast in 1 year? Yeah. And then I looked at I said, yeah, shoot, the housing market good over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm rolling in equity, baby. The houses are growing over here. You can go buy a house now, and next year, hey, man, I'm good now. I can go back to the people and say, hey, you know, that property tax that I'm paying a little bit more on, that's okay. Look at the overall concept. I'd have made money just by sitting here talking to y'all. That's just how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. The quarterback market is just the same. It's just the same. Let me go back to this right here. You think when these new quarterback, Justin Herbert, you think Justin Herbert getting 40? Y'all think Justin Herbert, his contract is going to be at $40 million? No. Shoot. Y'all think Burrows is going to get 45, 43 million? No. Y'all think that Lamar Jackson, y'all banging on the table, I want Lamar Jackson. Y'all think that y'all can offer that brother a contract for 46, 47 million? No. He going to be looking at it like, man, shoot. Russell Wilson got 49? All right, cool, bet. Shoot. I think that literally Kyler Murray's contract is the floor now for those new guys. 46.1 is the floor. Jalen Hurts, he's going to be looking at, hey, head to head, I beat Kyler Murray. He was no chance for me. Shoot. His agency and his representatives going to start. That's the floor. That's the starting price. 46. And we ain't talking about the guarantees. Let that sink in. So the money is going to be the money. And that's just the bottom line of it. But there will be a fire sale. And when I talk about a fire sale, there will be a climb to get into good standings. And if you guys can see that, let me know. I know it's small on the screen. And we talked about this last night. There's going to be players from these teams down here at the bottom looking to get up under that red. You know what I'm saying? And those teams, and let me start off by saying the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Vikings, the Jags, the Titans, they got some dogs over there that they're going to have to get rid of. They got some people that they're going to have to really look at and say to themselves, all right, we got to get out of the red. And I think the Saints got a real good interior guy that we can really partake in. I think that the Tennessee Titans, Simmons, got a real good interior guy that we can partake in. There are a lot of guys. There are a lot of guys. All right, so for the conversation about, I want to talk about this too, the no tag option. I think that the Cowboys should not franchise tag Tony Pollard. I think that the Cowboys should wait, look at everything. When's the last day you can franchise tag a player? Y'all let me know on that one. Yes, and DJ Worthy, you see a shopping list. Oh, my God. Yeah. When's the last day you can use a franchise tag? The new season starts in March, by the way. And here's my thoughts on this. Derek Carr going to the Saints. This is from, Trey, my girl Trey. Yeah, they gonna have they $60 million in the hole. They $60 million in the hole. And let me just see this right quick. Hold on, because teams do what they want to do, though. You know, let me see. Derek Carr. Hold on, give me 1 second. Derek Carr. And let me go right here. Boom. Let me see if we go right here. We're gonna bear with me, Cowboy Nation, and everyone that's listening. Let's go all the way up here. Let's find this man. Derek Carr. Boom. The quarterback. All right. Boom. All right. Financial ramification for Derek Carr, Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Cooks, and Rodney Hudson. Sean Payton read on. Okay. All right. Let me see. All right. His 2022. Yeah. So, yeah, he's at 24. Yeah, you could take that hit. You could take that hit. But in 2023, his dead money would be $5 million. That's why they got rid of him, right? So there, yeah. His cap here would be 34. That would carry over. So yeah, they're gonna need him because his guarantees money is gone. So they're gonna need a trade situation and scenario to get up under some things. But the good thing about this is that I think that this guaranteed money is gone. So, yeah, it's a no-brainer. I think the Saints can afford him. But the only way the Saints can afford this dude, they're going to have to cut some good fat for him, though, because his next contract is going to be spread out, and that could be a good firing sale for the Saints. And I appreciate you, Trey, for looking that up. So Derek Carr to that team what could be feasible. Yeah, it could be feasible, Sims, Trey. That could be feasible. It could be for them. But for our team, we got a lot of stuff that we got to uncover. We got so many things that when we look at it, we got to look over contract extensions if we want to do anything. Because for a third of the fans, they would look at that 89 and they say, hey, man, we can do something. We'll eat this 89, just get them up out of there. But they're 49 versus 89, both of them bad. So the Cowboys going to have to extend one way or another if they're serious about this. Now, if they don't and you play off of this, then you're organically tanking. Yeah. 21 made some memorable memories for the Dallas. March 7 is the franchise tag deadline. Appreciate you. I feel y'all on that. I feel all of y'all on that. March 7. Okay, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about Ezekiel Elliott contract. To keep Zeke or to move on from Zeke is a situation. What's wrong with this thing? It's a situation that the Cowboys going to have to figure out. I would say this. We still don't know. We definitely don't know who Ezekiel Elliott really is. If you look at his production in 2016, who was the NFL leading rusher? Ezekiel Elliott. 2017, we understand. We understand that whole situation and what happened with Roger Goodell. And then 18 came around. I truly believe that Zeke led the league in rushing, right? Or he finished out number 1 or number 2. Y'all can help me out. And then 2019, that's when the great decline of Zeke appeared. One can argue and say, well, Lord, that was because they had split back situations and the dude was just getting old at the time. Or you can literally say, hey, it was a change in offensive theory, a new offensive coordinator, just didn't know how to use them. Which way you going to lean on? Because 2020, we seen a decline in total production. 2021, we seen a decline in total production. And on top of that, for all of the beautiful people that's watching, we seen a decline in total production in that year. Let me see if I can fix this up. Y'all bear with me. Here we go. So the system itself could have been a hindrance, right? Or you can look at it and say to yourself, all right, Law, I get with what you're saying, but it's time to just move on and kick cans down with this. We got the unknown from Tony Pollard. We definitely got the unknown because we don't know whether or not he will be sturdy enough to last us for the full, strong length of the season. There's still an unknown out of Malik Davis. And there, of course, heading into the draft, there's plenty of weapons. Plenty of weapons in this draft as it relates to running. But that is literally cutting your legs off from under you and saying that I hope that these new legs can work. And granted, we can look at it and say that, yeah, football players are average at best for 3 years. The average lifespan of a football player is 3 years. But I'm not finna mortgage my entire future on that. Are you willing to mortgage? Are you willing to go in, if you are Mike McCarthy, saying let's get rid of both of my running backs, both of them, and go in here blindly leaning on a rookie? Now, granted, there have been times that rookie running backs excel. Rookie running backs been phenomenal. But I'm telling you guys, just as much as I say these things, what's going on with my thing? Just as much as I say these things, with that, it's the truth. When you start thinking about running backs in general for the Cowboys, everything is pumped up and glorified. Everything is overanalyzed. Everything is like, hey, what, down to the number that they're going to utilize and run from, down to the media, the scrutiny, and to keep things in check, the pressure would be all on those running backs. I would prefer this team heading into this year at least with some known commodity versus going into this particular thing with the unknown. We've seen this happen before. They got rid of Amari Cooper, by the way, and said, let's go and bring in rookies to solidify what we left off from Amari Cooper. And I had a good show with my guy, West Coast, just yesterday. And he said, you know what? The Cowboys did replace Amari Cooper with CeeDee Lamb, but they never replaced CeeDee Lamb. And you know what? What I don't want to see, if week 2, 3rd and 8, Dak Prescott dropped back and some rookie running back who've been phenomenal probably week 1, or who've been phenomenal all through these weeks of preseason and training camp, blown up as he's a good guy, missed a read. And now you see your quarterback folded up like a wallet or a lawn chair because he can't block. There are so many things that I'm not saying that you should pay $10 to $11 million for somebody to block, but there's something about continuity. There's something about being consistent. There's something about winning the trenches. There's something about playing through a certain injury to stay afloat. There's something about having the leadership responsibilities out there on the field. And the game of football is a game of inches. So that's just how that's how it looks. Gibbs is Dalvin Cook. I think it's fixed now. So that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. At some point, the Cowboys going to have to make the difficult decision for one of these guys. Tony Pollard and Zeke. They're going to have to. Does Zeke even have a trade value? Yeah, he got a no trade clause, so there's no trade value. Like, put it like this. I go all the way back to how we got Zeke in the first place, from the same thought tracks. In 2016, the Cowboys realized our best season ever with Tony Romo was 2014. Hear me out. 2014, ladies and gentlemen. 2014, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, Tony Romo, threw for 300 yards one time. They came up with a philosophy of running the ball. The offensive player of the year that year, his name was DeMarco Murray. he rushed for 1,800 yards and some change. The next year, or during that offseason, we got into a squabble, you know what I'm saying, about the money. And they was like, man, you shouldn't pay said running back all of that money. Well, my thing is, if the Cowboys were wise and smart enough, they would have seen 2013. They would have went to DeMarco Murray and extended him in 2013 and not allow him to play on his final contract in 14, right? And then you would have been able to not be in this same problem, in the same situation that you were in. But they waited too late, and they let that man get to the end of his contract, played unbelievable for 2014, became Offensive Player of the Year. What you think DeMarco Murray was going to say? Hey, man, give me, so I'll take the discount? No, he's a running back. So if the Cowboys were to extend him a little earlier, we wouldn't have had 2015. Law, what happened in 2015? I need that revisionist history. I need somebody to bring up the facts and not feelings. Well, there was a guy that wore 21, by the way. You know what I'm saying? His name was Joseph Randall. You know what I'm saying? And that was his name. Y'all can let me know. You know, I'm forgetting the man's name. But I know that he stole cologne and some draws. But also what he did in 2015, because I'm telling y'all, I love y'all to the core. The Dallas Cowboys been bitten with these type of things. Some people can call it curse, but we never have two things that match. You see, in 14, our team was really good on offense. We were running the ball, controlling the clock, but our defense was a lot of porous, you know what I mean? But in 15, that offseason, people failed to realize we revved up our defense. Our defense was on top, baby. Our defense was good. We was on our way. But guess what? We got rid of DeMarco Murray. And it was against the Eagles. I think it was week 3. It could be week 2. I think it was week 3. Could be week 2. Y'all let me know. But a guy by the name of Hicks come free off of that line. On Doug Free too, right? And Randall was like, shoo, I'll block that on another day. And all we seen is the quarterback laid out like Family Guy. And it was the end of that. That was the last play, really. That was the end of Tony Romo's career, basically. When you really contextualize it, I promise you, if you had DeMarco Murray, that play would never exist. Law, Zeke production has fell off, but since 2019, his carries has dropped every year, but his yards per carry changed very little. So what we expect from Zeke, a miracle, man. A miracle. A miracle. A miracle, man. That's what we expected. C. Burleson, thank you, man. It was week 3, Trey. Yeah, it was week 3. What was look, Trey, let me ask you this. What was our record? What was our record before week 3? Can you let me know, Trey? All right. Those are the wide receivers who can help out, make quick impacts. All I got to read where Joseph Randall was his name. You know what I'm saying? You know. All right. And C. Burleson says Murray had 1,700 yards that season, and they moved on. No problem. Zeke didn't have 1,000 yards this year, and we having a mental breakdown. Goofies. Yeah, I feel. I feel you. I feel you. But the collective picture was this right here. We moved on from DeMarco Murray because it was the end of his contract, right? And it was like, shoot, well, if you think you are who you are, then test the market, right? And then the Eagles would say, oh, yeah, I think the Eagles picked him up for a cup of coffee. Or it could have been the Titans. I could be off who picked him up. But what I'm saying is that now we're heading into the area of the unknown. And we can all clearly see that scheme do matter. And we know that Kellen Moore in 2014, in 2015, in 2016, he wasn't in nobody's lab studying and learning how to draw plays. We picked up Kellen Moore in 2015, right? So he was trying to make the team. He was trying to stay relevant. to be a player in the National Football League. And you had that same guy in 15, right, who was on this team, to be now all of a sudden a savant, a guy that knows how to dial up and draw up plays. You see, that's how hard it is for the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl. We got too much nepotism, cronyism in the house. Granted, at the end of the day, go Cowboys. I love this team. But we can clearly see that if this dude, Kellen Moore, was the offensive coordinator last year, at some point in 15, he was on the team. At 16, he was on the team, right? So that let me know just right there. There are people right now in this chat that knows more about running schemes than him. The man is so young. And we still had the expectations every year to win the Super Bowl. Nobody's going to bring this up on a 3-ladder or 4-ladder network. They remove all of that and say the man is genius. The man got his own money. That boy's good. That boy's good. I can only imagine a seasonal coach dialing up plays for Ezekiel Elliott. And I'm not, because I'm getting hit left and right. I'm not finna pull up that chart analysis of Ezekiel Elliott compared to Terrell Davis nor Adrian James. But I'm going to tell y'all that in a different scheme, you may see a different running back. That's all I'm saying. Granted, he did get hurt. I'm not taking that away from him. He did get hurt in that Detroit Lions game. And Zeke impact affected a lot of things the next game after that. I think that with the lead, with Ezekiel Elliott being healthy against Green Bay, we win that game. Appreciate all of y'all for jumping in. Shout out to you, Gina. I got a meeting to roll to at the top of the hour. I just wanted to be able to talk to you guys and get things going the best way possible. The Dallas Cowboys. Hey, Brandon said no. Brandon said the Lethal Weapon was on TV last night. 1 and 2. Yo. You already know, man. You know, that's just how it goes, man. Riggs. I'm going to have to say, Jerry, I'm getting too old for this, man. Run the ball, man. Find somebody. Now they got somebody. Let's get rid of the running backs. Let's get rid of all of them, y'all. I kid you guys not. We had a situation last year. We could have used all 4 of our running backs. Rico ain't know what his knees at. Rico Dottle, shoo. Malik Davis, Tony Pollard, Zeke. I would have been using all 4 of my running backs. Look, Lord, what kind of personnel? You run 14 personnel, and now you finna bring in all of these running backs. Which one to stop? And now you got doggone Tony Pollard in the slot. Is he a running back or a wide receiver? Hey, man, change of pace, everything. I would have had CeeDee Lamb drag underneath. Just for kicks out of line, CeeDee Lamb in the backfield. They be like, wait a minute, what's going on? He playing too much. Us fans need to stop the love for players, though. Yeah, this is a business, and the goal is best option to win Super Bowl. Common sense, you're right. I'm not going to argue with that. Yeah, but here's my only thing. We got to be all the way in with business, right? And we got to make sacrifices for the team the best way. So when Ezekiel Elliott sat down for his contract extension the first time, they should have been looking at this thing saying, all right, Zeke, we love you. We would rather give you $5 million more guarantee money versus having this no trade clause on the contract. Nothing personal. This is business. So that you won't be in the trap that you are in right now. And the same should have been said for even Dak Prescott. Dak, I know we bumping heads against this contract. I would prefer to give you $10 million more in guaranteed money versus the no trade clause contract in this thing. Let's shake on this one. It's business, nothing personal. I need to have me a way out. But you trust me. I need to have me a way out. That's why I'm giving you $10 million more. Nothing personal, business. And then if he didn't meet the expectations, then you could have put him on a trading block. That's my thoughts. But Law, you're supposed to be a Dak Prescott apologist. No. Nothing personal. This is business. Right? I would have said, you know what? That's just what it is. I'm not finna smear your name. I'm not finna sell you. Or if you really about to know feelings, test the open market. How many RBs rushed for 800 yards, missing 2 games with another running back on the team with 1,000? And we talk about production, laughing out loud. Yeah, it never fazed me. My guy, Scott, he hit me up and said, you know what? Alvin Kamara never had 1,000 yards rushing. I said, no, you bull sugaring me. You know, and then I looked at it, I said, oh, he never had 1,000 yards. But he received the ball, right? So you got to have all of that in context. But I get all what people are saying. Is Ezekiel Elliott the same Ezekiel Elliott from 2016? No. No, he's not. He's not. Right? Nevertheless, on the other side of it, can you utilize Ezekiel Elliott better if given the opportunity? Yes. He had 17 plus yards of 10 or more this season, and that's on a bum knee. Right? So the year before that, he had 22. The year before that, you see what I'm saying? He had about less than 20. So where is he? On explosive plays. We saw a little piece of it, but we've seen injuries. So it's hard to evaluate that. But one thing I can tell you, that under Kellen Moore's leadership as it relates to designing plays, if he struggled, and don't shank me with the butter knife, if he struggled with concepts of passing, four curls or what have you, or what you think he struggled with concepts on running, it's more obvious to see the struggles with the passing, because then you can lean on, hey, man, that quarterback, man, come on, man. Or the wide receiver, the ball bouncing off, or the phalanges. You know, we can see those things. But a running back, when he get hit in the hole, you be like, all right, next play. Running back, when he get hit off the side, hey, what's going on? But that's just how it goes, man. I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in for this episode. I had to split, but y'all be sure to understand that there are things that you can get via the free agency that you can't get out of the draft. And there's wisdom, experiences, right? Those are the two things. New broom can sweep the floor good, but that old broom can get those corners, right? Old folks say that all the time. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, as far as interior, you would want a guy that been around before. Now, Jonathan Hankins, I'll bring him back. I will. But nothing on his resume shows 9-10 sacks from the interior. So he is who he is. He's going to be a good run stopper. I need big bodies down inside to get some pressure to get to the quarterback. And sometimes you're going to have to spend a little to get that, Cowboy Nation. Riggs, I see y'all. I see y'all up in there. No, it's the off season. And we are at the mercy of another team going to the Super Bowl. That's not ours. And we gotta watch and sit there and watch those guys play. But win, lose, or draw, we still DC for life, right? That's the bottom line. Dalvin Tomlinson, yes, we gonna have to need it. The last time the Cowboys made major moves in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, we had a guy by the name of Russell Maryland. Y'all remember him? Such an underrated guy. Big boy down inside. I think the Cowboys' philosophy, you may not get it out of this trap, but you for dog sure can get it out of the free agency. But Law is too much money. You see, the Kansas City Chiefs knew that. And they said, you know what? Come hell and high water, they will pay their quarterback $500 million contract. Extend that so that they can sign a Christopher Jones. Watch him this weekend and what he brings to the table. A Ford. Watch what he do this weekend. Trench warfare is how you win. They re-solidified their front five too. Why? They got a good quarterback. But they know you win down in the trenches. And we can't void those areas. Although we can look back and say, hey man, we want a sexy pick. We want a wide receiver. We want this, we want that. And sometimes you don't have to get the ugly ones, right? Down in the trenches. Tyler Smith was very valuable for us this past season. I can only imagine if we'd have got a fancy car, a wide receiver with that pick juxtaposed to Tyler Smith. Keep building down in the trenches. Stay focused in on building down in the trenches. Get that wisdom, that strength, and that understanding of the game down in the trenches. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Go Cowboys. Riggs! Riggs! I'm getting too old for this, Riggs. Shout out to you, Coach Marv, Common Sense. Thank y'all for y'all support for this episode. One love, y'all. Appreciate y'all so much.
I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on now, dog.
Yeah.
Come on,
Time
man.
to check this on. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Count that too, count it up. Yeah. Count it up, count it up, count it up. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Need them ones, I need them fives, need them tens, I need that change. To the safe, got blues inside. Greens and pinks, it's all the same. I still save and roll my change. Take